Hey guys, welcome to another After Effects tutorial. In this one, we're going to be creating sliding icons logo reveal. Now, I've decided to use social network icons, but you can use whatever you prefer really. So without further ado, let's jump straight into After Effects and learn something cool. Welcome back. Now, before I delete everything and start from the beginning, I just wanted to show you what we are going to be doing. So as you can see, we have 3 icon placeholders with some additional animation, like for example, this little triangle over here and this little info bar. So if you take a look, each of these icon placeholders have identical animations. So we are going to do this once and then duplicate the first icon box 2 times. So we have 3 icons. Then we're going to slice the logo up to 3 equal parts. So yeah, let's just do this and you'll see it's really easy. Delete everything. Delete. Go to composition, new composition. I'm going to create a 1080p composition. 30 frames per second, 5-second long. Name 1080p. Okay. For the background layer, I'm going to use the shape layer. Select the rectangle. Add a new color. Something like this. And double click on a rectangle to create a 1080p layer. I'm going to rename it background. Okay. Now I'm going to create 3 icon placeholders. So the icons are going to be 400 by 400. I'm going to rename it icon 1. Okay. Now let's import icons. Put them in a folder. And I'm going to try to keep everything organized from the beginning. Okay. First icon, Facebook. Now duplicate the icon composition by selecting it. Control D or Command D if you're on a Mac, or go to Edit, Duplicate. Do this 2 times. So we have icon 01, 02, and 03. Now in the second one, you can select the icon which we already placed and delete it, or you can select it, select a new icon, hold down Alt or Option if you're on a Mac, and just drag new icon over the old one, and let go of the Alt. Go to icon 03. So there we go. I would like to take care of the logo right away. So we have 3 icon compositions, 400 by 400. So if we do the math, we need to have a logo composition which is 3 times the width and 400 pixels in height. So we need to go to composition, new composition, and I'm going to call this logo. 400 times 3. This is our logo composition. Now, we also need to create the, as you can take a look here again. So we have 3 icon compositions, and we also have 3 logo compositions, which are sliced. In order to do so, I'm going to create another composition. This is going to have 400 by 400 in dimensions, and is going to be named Logo Piece 01. Okay. Now take the logo composition and align it to the left. By the way, if you can't see this align window, you can go up here to Window and select the Align. And before I make even more copies, let's just organize this a bit. Now logo piece 2, by selecting it, Control D or Command D, or going up here to Edit, Duplicate. Double click on a logo piece 02, select the logo, and align it to the center. Go to the third piece, select the logo, and align it to the right. That's done. Now what we need to do is to create these little animations. To do so, let's create another composition, and I'm going to name it Icon 01 Animation. And this is where we're going to add all those little details. So go to Icons, drag in Icon 01. Let's create background layer for this. I'm going to use the shape layer again, so double click here. I'm going to change the color. Rename it to box. Go to Icon 01, go to Effect, Generate Fill. I'm going to add a color to this. There. Next thing I would like to do is to add this little info box, which is sliding upwards. So I'm going to duplicate the box layer, rename it to box additional text. Change its color so we can see what we are doing. Okay. Now move it downwards. And we're going to animate it at the 1 second mark. So I'm pressing P to enter the position. I'm going to click on the stopwatch, move to the second, and move the layer upwards for about 80 pixels. There we go. Select both keyframes, right-click, Keyframe Assistant Easy Ease, or that is F9 on your keyboard. Now I'm going to edit the keyframe velocities, so I'm going to select the first keyframe, right-click Keyframe Velocity. I'm going to type in 15 and 50, and for the second one, right-click Keyframe Velocity 115. If we click on the position and click here to see the graph editor, you'll notice that I've created some sort of a movement curve. So things will look like this. Now we're going to add a gradient to this. To do so, right-click, Layer Styles, Gradient Overlay. Change the scale right away to a maximum of 150%. Let's change up the colors. Okay. This looks about right. Now let's add the text. I'm going to change size to 36 pixels. Align it. Change the color to pure white. Change the font to Arial Bold. Let's move the start point to the start point of the additional text box, and now parent it to the box. By the way, if you can't see the parent function, try toggle switching the modes. Now, if we take a look, the text is following the info box. That's good. Now we're going to add the little triangle, which is blinking right before this info box is coming up. Now I'm going to do that by going to this shape dropdown, selecting the polygon tool, double click on it, open up the content polystar, change the points to 3, change the outer radius to 25, and go to add round corners, and add a 10 pixel radius, which is what we have here. Now change the scale, press S to bring up the scale. to 50, and position to 360. Now we're going to move the start point after we rename it to about 10 frames before the first second, so that is here. And now I'm going to press T to animate the opacity. So we have 0%, click on the stopwatch, move 2 frames. By the way, I'm doing this by holding the control on my keyboard and using the arrow keys, but you can also use your mouse. And you can see how much you're moving by looking at this number. So we are now at 20 frames. Go to 22. Go to 100% for the opacity. Another 2. 0. Another 2. 100. And then go to 105. Create another 100% keyframe. Go to 115. Go to the 0. Right-click, Keyframe Assistant Easy Ease. Now open the speed graph and select the last one and just move this handle to the left. And last thing we need to do is to parent the triangle to the box additional text. So if you take a look, that's nice. Also change the color for this little triangle. Now that's better. By the way, I'm always coloring the editable composition in orange and the layers and composition which I've used to build a scene or composition in blue. That way I always know which one I need to edit, and I suggest you start incorporating that in your workflow because it will help you later on. So icon, let's move it to about 5 frames. Press S, go down to 0 in scale, create a keyframe by clicking on the stopwatch, go to 105 and 150. Select both keyframes, right-click, Keyframe Assistant Easy Ease. Just like before, I'm going to select each keyframe separately, right-click, Keyframe Velocity, type in 15, 50, and for the next one, 115. Now I'm going to parent the icon to the first layer we created, and that is the box layer, because I'm going to use the box layer to move everything down, even the additional text. So I need to parent that as well in order to slide the logo in the scene. So let's do that. I'm going to go to logo piece, drag it inside, and the starting point for this piece is going to be -200. So just outside of the icon composition, I'm going to move it to 220, 25, 24. Right about there. Now go to the box, press P, and we're going to add 2 keyframes, one at 215. Click on the stopwatch, and the next one on 3-second mark, and we're going to move it all the way down to 600 pixels. Select both keyframes, right-click, Keyframe Assistant Easy Ease. Select the first keyframe, right-click, Keyframe Velocity 1500. Select the second keyframe, right-click, Keyframe Velocity 60 and 15. So far we have something like this. Now I'm going to use an expression to make the logo bounce a bit once it's entered the composition. And you will find that expression down below in the description. So just copy from the description and paste it in the position of the logo piece. And we're going to do that by clicking B to enter the position. Alt-click on the stopwatch and just paste the code from the description. So here's the code. In order for code to work, you actually need to create 2 keyframes. I'm going to create the first one right at the start point. So keyframe, go to 229, create another keyframe, which is then going to lower the logo piece to its place. So you have something like this. Since each icon compositions have identical animations, we're going to duplicate now what we've created. So this is icon 01 animation. We're going to duplicate it twice. Rename the second one to icon 02 and the third one to icon 03. Double click on both of them, open them up. So icon 02, select the icon 01 in the composition, select the icon 02 from the project panel over here, hold down Alt or Option if you're on a Mac, and drag the new icon over the old one. So we have now Twitter. Now we're going to do that for the logo piece as well. Select the logo piece 2, drag it, change the text, change the gradient, select the icon, select new color, and do the same thing for the triangle. Okay, now all we have to do is to edit the third one. Same procedure, Alt drag the icon and the logo piece, change the gradient, do the same thing for the icon and the small triangle. Now we can close the icon animation compositions. We can also close the icons compositions, the logo piece, close everything until we have the 1080p composition alone. Now drag the icon animation, all 3 compositions to the 1080p above the background layer. Now if you take a look at the example, we are going to animate the scale for each of the icons, and we're going to add some shadows. First thing I'm going to do is to select all 3 of the icons, press S and scale them down to about 70%. Now I'm going to select the first icon, move it aside, and select the third one, move it to the other side. Now select the first icon, press S again, add a keyframe to the starting point, go to about 1 second mark, add another keyframe. We're going to change the value for the first one to 0. Select both keyframes, right-click, keyframe assistant, easy ease. Just like before, right-click on a keyframe, keyframe velocity. We're going to type in 35 and 50. And for the second one, 135 for the second value. Now I'm going to select these 2 keyframes, Control C, select the animation 02 and 03, and just paste those keyframes by Command V or Control V. And we're going to offset these compositions by 5 frames. So go to 5 frame mark, move the second one, another 5 frames, move the third one. Wow. Now, in order to add shadows, what I've done is I've selected all three compositions, Control-Shift-C to pre-compose or go to Layer, Pre-compose, and call this Animation. Then we're going to duplicate this once to create a sharper shadow, and then we're going to do it again to create a softer one as well. So select the second layer, Effect, Perspective, Drop Shadow. We're going to add the distance to about 120, softness to 60, and the opacity to 5. So just barely visible shadows. But since we're working with bright colors, you're going to notice it. And then we're going to check the shadow only checkbox. Now we're going to duplicate this shadow composition, and we're going to change the values to 30% for the opacity, 140% for the distance, and 560 for the softness. There. And we can also rename this by pressing Enter. Shadow Sharp. And Shadow Soft. Let's take care of the organization a bit. So we have a folder named Edit for icons and our logo. Select everything. That's going to be orange. Now we're going to create another folder, which is going to be named Render. Drag 1080p composition inside. And we're going to create another folder. Scene Elements is where we're going to place everything we've used to create this animation. Colorize everything blue. And now you get yourself a clean looking project. Blue. Okay. And you can leave the editable compositions opened so you know when you need what you need to edit over here. And that's it, guys. Hopefully you'll find this tutorial useful. I will leave the download link to the free project in the item description below, as well as the bounce expression we've used for the logo. And until next time, take care, I wish you all the best, and bye.